Well, I brought my husband, Benny, for child support.
We're not
we have four
actually,
kids.
we're separated, Your Honor.
We are still married, though. We have 4 kids, and he is zero responsible, and I need help.
I don't know what you talk about being zero
Excuse
responsible.
me, sir.
She's accusing me of stuff that is not true. I'm very responsible.
She
Your
hasn't
Honor.
said more than 3 words,
Exactly.
though. You haven't even given her a chance to speak.
Whatever.
Welcome back to Judge Bench, the place where we break down the most intense, bizarre, and thought-provoking courtroom moments, turning them into real conversations about responsibility, relationships, and the law. If you're into courtroom drama that makes you think and maybe even yell at the screen, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a moment. Today, we're diving into the explosive case of Ricardo vs. Ricardo, filed under JVB 1059 in support court with Judge Vonda B. But don't let the title fool you. This wasn't just a routine child support hearing. It was a front-row seat to a fractured relationship, a financial tug-of-war, and 2 people clearly talking past each other instead of to each other. The case kicks off with Mrs. Ricardo taking the stand, claiming her estranged husband Benny is refusing to support their 4 children. Here's the kicker. Even though they're separated, they're still legally married.
Your Honor,
For the
this is the
children.
type of attitude I have to deal with every time I try to call him, every time I try asking for help, every time I try to ask him, hey, at least call your kids, try to see, if they're okay.
And how many kids do you all have?
4.
4
we have
kids.
4 kids. We have 2 girls and 2 boys.
I don't
It's
even know if one
ridiculous.
of them is mine, Your Honor. I don't even know if one of them is mine. One of them, the last one, that's the straw that broke the camel's back, that last one. Because my drummer might have something to do with that. He was beating more.
She claims Benny has been completely absent. No financial support, no emotional involvement. According to her, even getting him to pick up the phone and call their 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls, is a struggle. The silence from their father is deafening. But before she can even finish a few sentences, Benny cuts in, immediately on the defensive. He denies her accusations and in the same breath questions the paternity of one of the children, claiming the child doesn't have his eyes, as if eye shape were a reliable test for fatherhood. Benny even spins a wild tale involving a drummer, accusing his wife of infidelity, while she's been doing her best to keep their home and children stable while working full-time as a teacher. According to Mrs. Ricardo, everything changed when Benny's music career started taking off. Once the money started coming in, so did the women. She says he began bringing all kinds of people into their home, musicians, groupies, collaborators, and eventually he walked out completely.
So he is, like I said, zero responsible. And we have been together for 15 years. He has been bringing people in and out of the house all the time, all these musicians, people he works with. I'm a teacher.
What does he do for a living?
He's a R&B singer.
Oh, okay.
He has a group.
Okay.
He started making it big, making all this money, and then he decides he wants to leave me. And then I start receiving calls from all these girls, saying, hey, I'm with him or whatever. I'm with.
Benny didn't just deny Mrs. Ricardo's claims. He flipped the script saying he has other kids too. 16, or so he thinks, admitting he's lost count. Even the judge paused at that. He joked about memory loss from medicinal drugs, but let's be honest, it wasn't funny. It was reckless. Mrs. Ricardo is asking for stability, support, and accountability. Benny claims he can't afford it, despite admitting he's worth $500,000. His excuse? The money's tied up in investments, and he has other kids to think about. To him, fatherhood is long-term planning, not monthly child support.
Me. And the truth of the matter is, Your Honor, it sounds like a lot of money, but I got other kids to take care of too. She ain't the only one. She knew I had kids before we got married.
No, I didn't.
Now let's talk about.
Now you calling me a liar?
Yeah, you are a liar.
I ain't a liar. You
yes,
a liar.
You are. You never
a
told me
bold-faced
that.
liar. She a bold-faced
No,
liar,
you
Your
never
Honor.
told me this. After our second child,
What is
then
a
you started
bold-faced
coming.
liar exactly?
Just look at her face and look how bold she is with what's coming out her mouth.
Oh, okay. Well, Benny, we're going to focus on the facts.
The judge doesn't let Benny off easy, reminding him that long-term planning means nothing if his kids don't have health insurance or braces he won't pay for. Legally, Mrs. Ricardo was well within her rights to file for support, even though they're still married. In Texas, child support is calculated based on capped net resources, a $9,200 per month, not Benny's full $500K income. That's why, despite his earnings, the judge sets support at $2,796 monthly, plus $380 for health insurance. Mrs. Ricardo, understandably, felt it wasn't enough, believing he could and should do more.
You is, how much money are you making?
My net worth is only $500K.
Only?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I got some investments that the money's tied up in, and I can't get it out right now. And taking care of these other two for sure that I know is mine. It's hard out there. It's hard out there for an entertainer.
So you all have 4 kids together, and you have 2 other children?
2 other children, yeah.
All right. How are those the only 2 children that? So you have a total of 6 kids.
I lost count. So, but you know, I
never
know
knew about all
sure.
this.
Wait a minute. You lost count of the number of children?
Legally, the court's hands were tied. Despite Mrs. Ricardo's years of support, 15 years, 4 kids, and standing by Benny through his music career, she's now left to raise their children alone while working full-time as a teacher. She's not just fighting for money, she's fighting for stability. As for Benny's paternity doubts, Texas law presumes a husband is the father of any child born during the marriage, unless legally challenged, which Benny never did. That's why Judge Vonda B delivered the line that cut through all the noise. Guess what? You're the father. No excuses, no drama, just accountability.
You know, it was.
And you all been married 15 years?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, when I was younger, it was some stuff that you know,
And
I'm
I
an
never
entertainer,
knew about
you know?
it, Your Honor. He never told me any of this.
So I was on some of that medicinal stuff that was for my eyesight, because I asked you to look in my eyes and you could see that some of the stuff. But anyway, the medicinal stuff that I was using,
wasn't sure what I saw,
it did
actually.
something. It did something, and I kind of lost count. But I know for 2 for sure.
This case isn't just about a child support figure. It's about accountability. It's about understanding that emotional neglect and financial abandonment often go hand in hand. Benny may see his investments as a legacy, but what kind of a legacy is it if the children you leave behind feel forgotten? And let's not overlook Mrs. Ricardo. Through the accusations, the character attacks, and Benny's dismissive behavior, she stayed composed. She wasn't seeking revenge. She was seeking support. And while the court couldn't give her everything she hoped for, it gave her something that matters: a legally binding support order, a documented record, and maybe, just maybe, a turning point for her and her children. At Judge Bench, we don't just recap these cases, we reflect on them. Because behind every case file is a real story. And sometimes that story speaks louder than the verdict. If this case hit home for you, drop a comment below. Do you think Benny was being manipulative? Should the court have done more? And what would you do in Mrs. Ricardo's shoes? Thanks for watching Judge Bench, where real drama meets real decisions. If you got value from this breakdown, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and shared it with someone who needs to hear it. More cases, more insights, and more truth coming your way soon.